Hello everyone, the name's Leoro. Today, I'll be attempting to beat Pokemon Red with only a single Jigglypuff. I am aware this has been done before, but I wanted to do it myself and put my own spin on it, since Jigglypuff is my favorite Pokemon. So, today, we'll be finding out, can I beat Pokemon Red with only one Jigglypuff? Jigglypuff is by no means a strong Pokemon, with a base stat total lower than most first form starters. It has a high base HP and an okay attack stat at 45, but our defense and speed both leave much to be desired. And since this is Gen 1, Jigglypuff's base special is only 25. She learned some okay moves by level up, with Rest and Body Slam being the best. Where she really shines though is in her TM compatibility. She's able to learn Grass, Electric, Psychic, Fighting, Water, and Ice type moves. This will give us a lot of type coverage and be very helpful in the Elite Four. I am writing the script as I go through with the challenge, so all of this was written before starting. Let me know if you think I can win or not. I feel as though I can win, but it will require a lot of grinding and being over-leveled. Let me explain the rules. In battle, I am only allowed to use Jigglypuff. I will need other Pokemon for HMs, but I will not be allowed to use them in battle. I will not be allowing the use of glitches or exploits in this run. No items in battle, only Pokeballs and items outside of battle are allowed. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as I plan to do more of these challenges. After Professor Oak warns me of the danger of the tall grass, we go to pick up our starter Jigglypuff. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Jigglypuff. That way I can use it the entire run. I named my Jigglypuff H-Box because I'm super original. In the beginning rival fight, I ran out of PP on Sing and attempted to struggle to victory, but because of a couple of unfortunate critical hits from our rival, I lost the fight. If this is any indication for how the challenge will go, this is going to be a long one. From there, I started grinding in Viridian Forest. Until level 9, Jigglypuff only has access to the move Sing, and so the struggle grind begins. For this grind, I only battled against Kakunas and Metapods since they couldn't fight back. After a solid 20 minutes of grinding though, we finally learned Pound, and while that is great, it will not be enough to take out Brock. As I continued to grind, I decided to take on the optional rival fight. It starts rough, with Pidgey starting out with a sand attack to lower our accuracy. We missed Sing, and on the next turn, Pidgey critically hit us for 15 damage. Not a great start. We hit Sing and use Pound twice while he is asleep, and somehow crit both, bringing him to low health. However, as we try to finish him off, Pidgey crits us again and brings us down to 10 health. At this point, I was debating resetting, but I just kept going. We finish off Pidgey, and Charmander is brought out. Charmander hit us for about half our remaining health as we put him to sleep. So as he slept, we spammed Pound and missed quite a lot. However, we were still able to finish him off and win the fight. We were very lucky in this one. We are definitely going to need to grind up a little bit before we attempt to beat Brock. After grinding to level 15, I decided to take my first try at Brock. I start off trying to put Geodude to sleep, but between Brock having 5 full heals and missing 6 Sings in a row, we ran out of power points and died before we could even bring him down to half health. We are going to need to level up some more. We try the fight again at level 17 with a new strategy. Because of Brock's full heals, sleep will not be reliable enough, so we go in on the offensive. We are able to take down Geodude this time, but we live with only 5 HP. Onyx comes out and I attempt to put him to sleep, but we just die to tackle. We are not good enough at this point to beat Brock. I think I'm going to need Defense Curl before I stand any chance. The strategy here is to set up 6 Defense Curls and just murder everything Brock loves. So, once we have got to level 19 and learned Defense Curl, we take our third attempt at Brock. We were able to get up to the maximum defense and take out Geodude fairly easy, or at least I thought that's what I would be saying if I hadn't used almost all but 10 of my own PP on Pound. I realized this quickly and attempted to waste all my other moves' PP and win with struggle. It was a very close fight, but I ended up losing due to a bide that was unavoidable. I do feel as though I can do this with enough luck and maybe changing up my strategy a bit. After a few more attempts with different strategies, I decided that I needed to grind a little more. I grind against Brock since I can beat his Geodude consistently, and it gives better XP than the Pokemon in Viridian Forest. On this attempt at level 20, we actually start doing well. We just spam Pound to try and kill Geodude as fast as possible. We level up to 21 mid-fight, which honestly didn't help all that much. My strategy for Onyx was fairly simple though. I would try to use a combination of Sing and Disable to prevent Onyx from using Bide. And whenever he did use Bide, I would use Defense Curl to waste turns and bring up my defense. With some sleep luck, we were finally able to defeat Brock and gain our first gym badge. That was tough, but hopefully being overleveled will allow me to sweep through the next bit of the game. We make our way to Cerulean City, fighting all the trainers we can for experience. Inside of Mount Moon, we find the TMs for Water Gun and Mega Punch, which we promptly teach to H-Box. Mega Punch is not very reliable, but it would probably be our best move until we learn Body Slam, so it is very nice to have. We make it to Cerulean with no problems, and I'm feeling confident, so I go ahead and attempt the Water Gym. Misty starts the battle with an X defend as I put her Staryu to sleep, and we take it out with 2 Mega Punches. Starmie comes out and I put it to sleep immediately, while I get hit by a Water Gun for 21 damage. Misty then uses an X defend on her precious Starmie, but that does not stop H-Box from taking it out with 4 Mega Punches. So we get our second gym badge on the first attempt. From this, we are also able to get the TM for Bubble Beam, which we teach to H-Box in place of Water Gun. That way we can deal with rock types without being stuck there for hours. From there, we continue on to the first mandatory rival fight of the game. He leads with Pidgeotto, which we take out with a combination of Mega Punch and Bubble Beam, taking minimal damage in the process. He then brings out Abra, which can't fight back, so I take the opportunity to get +6 defense just in case. Then we take out Abra with Mega Punch, and Rattata comes out only to meet the same fate. Finally, Charmander comes out and is taken out swiftly by a single Bubble Beam after some damage is taken from Ember. And with that, we have completely demolished Blue's team and we move on to the Nugget Bridge, and nothing eventful happened aside from H-Box learning Rest, which will be very helpful since I'm not using items in this run. After we free Bill from his fetish chamber, we take the cruise tickets and make our way to Vermilion City. We walk onto the SS and quickly turn witnesses into victims, finding the TM for Body Slam along the way. We quickly discard Mega Punch for the far superior move. This will probably be our main stab move for the rest of the run. Once we made our way through, we ran into Blue once again. He led with his Pidgeotto, and I was able to one-shot it with a Body Slam. Next, he brought out his Raticate, and you know what? I'm not gonna act like there was any challenge in this fight. We swept his entire team with Body Slam. After that, we rub the old man's back and move on to the Electric Gym. The trainers inside the gyms were all one-shot sweeps with Body Slam, and after 5 minutes of failing the trash can puzzle, we were finally able to challenge Lieutenant Surge. He leads with Voltorb using an X speed. However, that was completely useless as we were able to one-shot it with Body Slam. Next up is Pikachu, which uses Growl to lower our attack, but we're still able to one-shot it. Then Lieutenant Surge brings out his Ace Raichu and misses Growl as we bring it to half with a Body Slam. On the next turn though, he goes for Thunderbolt and it brings us down to half HP with a crit. We finish him off with another Body Slam, but this could have easily posed a problem if they actually attacked more than once. We got lucky though and can move on. We make it to Celadon City with no problems and challenge Erica's gym. She starts off with her Victory Bell. It misses Rap and I miss Sing. Next turn, it misses its Sleep Powder, but I'm able to hit my Sing and take it out with 2 Body Slams on the following turns. Tangle is brought out next, and we actually outspeed it and bring it down to low health with Body Slam, as it hits us with Bind for a few turns. Once it wears off though, we were able to take it out no problem, and finally Vileplume is brought out only to be taken out swiftly by 2 Body Slams. Afterwards, we swiftly move through the Rocket Game Corner. While inside, we find a Moonstone and think, wow, thanks for nothing, whilst promptly throwing it out. We find Giovanni and the fight goes pretty well. He started out by using a guard spec on Onix, which gets one-shot by Bubble Beam. Rhyhorn comes out only to meet the same fate as Onix. His final Pokemon is Kangaskhan, which I'm actually quite afraid of, but Giovanni uses a guard spec, wasting a turn while we bring him down to about a third of his health. He uses Comet Punch for minimal damage and we finish him off. I don't know why I was afraid looking back. I'm almost 20 levels higher than him at this point. We move on to the Pokemon Tower and the rival fight there is a complete joke. We were able to one-shot his entire team with Body Slam once again. We have not had that many problems since the Rock Gym in the beginning, and I'm currently predicting we probably won't until the Elite Four. Since we are nearby, I head on over to finish Silphco. I was worried coming into this one since the levels were about to jump. However, since I'm in the high 50s at this point, I feel as though I should be okay. First up, the rival fight. He starts with Pidgeot and immediately hits us with Wing Attack, but we retaliate with Body Slam. The next Wing Attack crits for about 40 damage and we finish him off with one more Body Slam. I decide that Sleep might be the best way to go for this fight and put Execute to sleep and take it out with 2 Body Slams. Next comes Gyarados, which crits Bite and brings me to half, but I'm able to put him to sleep. After taking a moment to think, I decide Sleep will be the best plan of attack, and Blue thinks that using Recover while at full HP is the right move. After 2 attempts, Sing puts him to sleep while taking little damage in the process. We then use Rest to heal up as he stays asleep, and after all that, we one-shot it with a Body Slam. Probably should have done that in the beginning now that I think about it. Now time for Blue's level 40 Charizard. He immediately crits us for about 60 HP as we miss Sing. It uses Ember for 20 and we miss Sing again. Next turn we both miss, so moving on, I just decided to use Bubble Beam to try and kill, and we get crit by another slash, but in return we deal a little less than half health. Charizard then uses Leer as we bring him down to a sliver of health. At this point, I say screw it, I have to attack or I'm gonna lose. And apparently Charizard decided to lose and we win. That was a close one. I'm going to need to be more careful in the future. Giovanni was a much easier fight. Nidorina, Kangaskhan, and Rhyhorn go down with no problems. But Nidoqueen was a little tougher. We start by using Bubble Beam for a little less than half and get hit by our Body Slam for 60. Luckily though, we crit our own Body Slam and we can move on to the next gym. Sabrina starts with her Kadabra, which crits Psybeam for half my health, while I bring them down with Body Slam. That's an interesting way to start the fight. Mr. Mime comes out next, and I try to put him to sleep for a couple of turns, finally hitting on the third try. We then use Rest to heal up. Once we wake back up, we use Body Slam twice to take out Mr. Mime. Venomoth is taken down to a sliver by Body Slam, and I finish it off with Bubble Beam. Alakazam comes out spamming Reflect, and we take him down to half with Body Slam. Then we get paralyzed, and he hits us with Psywave for minimal damage, and we are able to finish him off with Body Slam on the next turn. Afterwards, we move on to the Safari Zone, and then on to Koga. He leads with Coughing, which is taken out by a combination of Body Slam and Bubble Beam, dealing no damage to us. Next up is Muck, which is taken out by 2 Body Slams, but gets a poison on Jigglypuff before finally going down. The second Coughing goes down the same way as the first, doing minimal damage. Finally, Weezing is brought out, and we put him to sleep after being brought down to half by 2 Sludges. We use Rest to heal back up, and Koga is using X attacks on his Weezing. If this thing wakes up, an explosion will kill us for sure. Luckily though, it does not get the chance because we're able to take it out with 2 Body Slams. Next up on our hit list is Blaine. He sends out Growlithe only to get immediately one-shot by Body Slam. Ponytalk comes out, and in Blaine's infinite wisdom, he uses a Super Potion while at full HP, allowing for the one-shot. Then Blaine sends out his Rapidash and crit Stomp for a decent amount of damage while being brought down to a sliver by Body Slam. Next turn, he decides to not attack and lets me finish off Rapidash for free. Finally, we are up against Arcanine. Once again, Blaine decides that it would be a good idea to use a Super Potion on a full HP Pokemon, allowing me to bring Arcanine down to half with a Body Slam. Next turn, he uses Roar, which does absolutely nothing in trainer battles in Generation 1, so I finish off Arcanine for the badge. This was probably the easiest gym so far. We will have to see how Giovanni goes. When we got to the gym, Giovanni led with his Rhyhorn. We quickly one-shot it with Bubble Beam, and next out comes Dugtrio. He uses a Guard Spec, which allows for Body Slam to one-shot Dugtrio. Nidoqueen then came out, being taken out by 2 Body Slams, but not before dealing a little damage with Scratch and a Poison Sting. Nidoking went out the same way, but used better moves, those being Horn Attack and Thrash. Next up is Giovanni's ace, the big and strong Rhydon. He has a mighty strength, and he's already dead. Bubble Beam one-shot him. Well, that's a little anticlimactic, but let's move on towards the Elite Four. Before we are able to start making our way there, though, we have one more rival fight. Blue starts with his Pidgeot and hits us with a Quick Attack as we use Body Slam to bring him to half. He then uses Wing Attack as we finish him off with another Body Slam. Rhyhorn comes out next and is immediately taken out by a single Bubble Beam. Execute is brought out and attempts to use Solar Beam, but since we are faster, he is taken out with 2 Body Slams. Gyarados is the next challenger and hits us for big damage with Hydro Pump, but we retaliate with a Body Slam to bring him below half health. He goes for Bite for a decent amount of damage, but we're able to finish him off with a Body Slam. Alakazam comes out and uses Recover while at full HP, and we put him to sleep. We then use Rest on the next turn to heal up. Once we wake back up though, we use a Body Slam to bring him down to a tiny amount of health. Somehow he has yet to wake up, so on the next turn we finish him off with a Bubble Beam. When Charizard comes out, he misses a Leer as I'm able to put him to sleep with Sing. He is then brought down to slightly above half and stays asleep. Next turn, however, he wakes up, but we crit our Body Slam to finish him off. We make it through Victory Row with no problems, and before I go into the Elite Four, I decide to grab some TMs that I've gotten throughout the game to deal with all these Pokemon. I decide to teach Jigglypuff Thunderbolt to try and deal with Lorelei's team since almost all of them are water types. Dugong comes out first and misses Takedown, and we are able to hit Thunderbolt for a little more than half of their health. On the next turn, Dugong lowers our attack with Growl as we finish it off with another Thunderbolt. Cloyster is next, and it uses Spike Cannon as we bring it down to a sliver of health with Thunderbolt and paralyze him. This allows us to finish him off on the next turn. Slowbro comes out next, and we bring him down to a third with Thunderbolt and paralyze him while he goes for withdraw. Next turn, he goes down easily. Jinx is brought out and crits us with Body Slam for a decent chunk of health, as we also hit her with a Body Slam and get another paralysis. We are able to finish her off with a Thunderbolt next turn as Lapras is brought into Rumble. We use Thunderbolt to bring him down to half, and a Hydro Pump does a lot to us. I thought I should heal for safety as he hammers me with a Blizzard and another Hydro Pump. I heal again and immediately realize I made a mistake when Lorelei has Lapras go for a combination of 3 Hydro Pumps and Blizzard, taking us out. I could have won if I would have just used Thunderbolt instead of healing, so I try again. The second attempt went pretty similar to the first. We take out Dugong, Cloyster, and Slowbro with 2 Thunderbolts, but we took more damage in the process. So, against Jinx, I wanted to bring her to low health and then heal. However, we actually paralyzed with Body Slam and Ice Punch did good damage to us, so I just wanted to try my paralysis luck. After getting crit for half my health though, I decided to just kill the Jinx as soon as possible. Lapras is brought out and immediately uses Blizzard, dealing about 100 damage to us while we do half with Thunderbolt. We use Thunderbolt again and it doesn't kill, but Lorelei cheats using an item on the second turn, which lets us finish off Lapras on the third. Bruno is a pretty brutal trainer for this run. His fighting types deal a lot of damage to us, and his Onix resists our main stab move. We attempt anyways, and his first Onix goes down with a singular Blizzard after hitting us with Slam. Hitmonchan then goes for Ice Punch as we hit it with a Body Slam and get a paralysis. On the next turn, we're able to finish it off. Next up is Hitmonlee, who goes for High Jump Kick, which almost kills us as we try to put him to sleep, but fail and immediately lose. I'm going to try to grind out attempts for this and see if I can get lucky, because I do not want to level up quite yet. The very next attempt goes surprisingly well though. I didn't start recording until after I killed Onix with Blizzard, so sorry for that. Anyways, next is Hitmonchan. A similar story to last time, went for an Elemental Punch and then Mega Punch while I was able to take him out with 2 Body Slams. This time, however, Hitmonlee went for Focus Energy as I put him to sleep with Sing. I finished him off using 2 Body Slams while he took his little nap. Against the next Onix, I wanted to heal up, so I put him to sleep on the second try and then used Rest myself. He did not wake back up, so I was able to one-shot it with Blizzard. Bruno then sent out his final Pokemon, Machamp. He tries for submission, but misses, which allows me to put him to sleep. We are then able to take out Machamp while he is asleep, letting me go on to Agatha. Talk about some amazing luck. On our first attempt at Agatha, we were immediately confused by her Gengar, but Jigglypuff doesn't care, so we're able to two-shot with Seismic Toss, which can for some reason hit ghost types in Gen 1. Golbat goes for Haze, which does nothing as we take him below half health with Body Slam. We're able to finish him off with 2 Seismic Tosses over the next 2 turns. Haunter is then brought out and goes for Nightshade, which works on normal types in this game, just as Seismic Toss does to bring him to half health. Haunter uses Dream Eater for 0 damage while we finish him off with another Seismic Toss. Arbok is brought out next and uses Glare to paralyze Jigglypuff as we hit him with a Body Slam for a little over half health. Next turn we are able to finish him off though using 1 more Body Slam. Finally, Agatha brings out her last Gengar and we hit it with Seismic Toss for about half HP. We are then confused once again, but since Jigglypuff is an absolute beast, we are able to hit Seismic Toss anyways. Gengar then goes for a 0 damage Dream Eater and we're able to hit another Seismic Toss despite confusion and being paralyzed to finish him off. We have had some insane luck through this Elite Four run. Now it is time for the final member of the Elite Four, Lance. He leads with Gyarados and immediately goes for Leer as we put him to sleep. We are then able to two-shot with Body Slam. Next up is Dragonair, and it crits us with Hyper Beam for massive damage, and we went for Sing. After we put it to sleep, we use Ice Beam to bring it to low health and then use Rest to heal back up. We wake up on the same turn, and he chooses to use Agility while we get a crit to one-shot with Ice Beam. Another Dragonair came out and used Agility as I used Ice Beam and froze it. He then healed up and we used another Ice Beam, bringing it down to a sliver. Next turn we finish it off with another Ice Beam. Aerodactyl comes out and we miss 3 Sings in a row as they go for 1 bite and miss 2 Supersonics. I then decide to go on the offensive and bring him to pretty low as we are brought down to half. I then put him to sleep and rest up for more health. Once we both wake up, he crits us with Bite and we bring him to low health with Ice Beam. Next turn we finish him off with Ice Beam as he confuses us. Against Dragonite, I attempt to hit Ice Beam twice, but end up hitting myself in confusion potion twice, and then get finished off by a hyper beam. We can definitely do this with a little better luck towards the end. A couple of attempts later, we get this run that goes pretty well. Gyarados is a similar story to last time. We put him to sleep and body slam it down. This time though, we do not get hit by Leer, which helps a lot. Again, we have the Dragonair, which crit slam to bring us to half as Ice Beam brings it to low health. Next turn, we take it out with Ice Beam and take minimal damage from Slam. The second Dragonair comes out and hits Dragon Rage as we put it to sleep. We heal up with Rest, and Dragonair immediately wakes up. On the turns I'm asleep, it goes for Agility and Dragon Rage. Once we wake up though, Ice Beam is a one-shot because of a lucky crit. Next up is Aerodactyl, which hits Bite for solid damage as we get it quite low with Ice Beam. It then goes for Hyper Beam, which brings us to very low health, and we get lucky and land a Sing. We then use Rest to heal back up, and we wake up on the same turn, take a little damage from Bite, and finish it off with an Ice Beam. We are then brought back to Dragonite. Slam misses as we're able to almost one-shot with Ice Beam. Next turn, Dragonite uses Barrier for some odd reason, and we miss Ice Beam, unfortunately. Lance then takes the opportunity to heal up as we bring it right back down with Ice Beam. He then uses another Barrier, but this time we land Ice Beam, winning us the fight. Now it is time for the final battle of the run against Champion Blue. Pidgeot is first, and we spam Sing until Pidgeot uses Mirror Move and puts us to sleep for 5 turns, wherein most of those he goes for Whirlwind, which doesn't work. We finally wake up, having about half HP from Wing Attack and Sky Attack. We put him to sleep and hit an Ice Beam for a little more than half of his health. Next turn I decide to heal with Rest, but he wakes up on that turn. Sky Attack is able to hit us hard before we take it out with a second Ice Beam. Second is Alakazam, which attempts to recover at full health. I know, a genius move. And we miss Sing. Next turn he goes for the more useful move of Reflect, and we put him to sleep. We heal with Rest again, and Alakazam wakes up, but just spams Reflect until we were able to wake up and use Body Slam for just about half of his health, as well as a paralysis. He hits us with a massive Psychic that brings us down to 47 health. We then go for Rest to heal up, and he hits another Psychic for about 170 damage. He then goes for Psybeam, which finishes us off. Not gonna lie, we got pretty unlucky on that run. We had horrible luck the one time we got put to sleep, and no luck when they were asleep. I'm just gonna keep trying at this one for a little. Several attempts later, we have this one run where I actually make it pretty far in the fight. Throughout the attempts I had, I was able to learn what Pokemon need to be put down quickly and which could just be put to sleep. Pidgeot was one of those that need to be taken out quickly. 2 Ice Beams do the job as Alakazam comes out. He attempts to recover while at full health, and we use Body Slam for massive damage, as well as a paralysis. That makes us faster and able to take him out without getting hit. Next up is Rhydon, and quite a few attempts were lost because of its Leer weakening us against other Pokemon. This time, however, he attempts a very scary Horn Drill, and we take him out after 2 Ice Beams. Next is Executor, who uses Barrage, and we use Body Slam for about a third of his health. After a couple of turns where we exchanged blows, we took him out with about half of our health left. Gyarados comes out next, and I start sweating. I lost multiple attempts here. He goes for Hydro Pump, and it misses as we land a Sing. We then rest up to try and heal, and Gyarados stays asleep for a little longer than we do. We hit a single Body Slam for a little less than half before he wakes up. He then goes for Dragon Rage as we put him down for another nap. We go for another Body Slam as he wakes up, and before we can take him down, he uses Leer, lowering our defenses for Charizard. As Charizard comes out, he immediately goes for a massive critical slash for about 100 damage as we deal up around half to him with Body Slam. Next turn, he goes for Rage, dealing minimal damage, but as we bring him down to just a sliver of health, he gets an attack boost. If he goes for Slash, we lose the battle here. We saw how much it did earlier. We select Body Slam with a heavy heart, and Blue throws the fight by going for Rage instead of Slash, and we finish him off with Body Slam, becoming the Pokemon League champion. Oak barges in and tells us how much of a disappointment Blue is after losing to a man with only a Jigglypuff, and we are entered into the Pokemon League to officially become the champion. So that means yes, it is very possible to beat Pokemon Red with a singular Jigglypuff. This challenge was not as difficult as I thought it would be. The grind before Brock was insane, but aside from that, we did not have to grind for a single fight. Bruno ended up being beaten fairly easily, and our final fight with Blue did not take too long to win. We also did not end up as over-leveled as I thought I would need to beat the game. We were not even 10 levels above Blue's ace Charizard. I expected to need to be in the mid-80s to beat the game, but I suppose the moveset we had was able to carry us through. I really enjoyed this challenge and hope you enjoyed watching. I plan to do more challenge videos in the future, so if you enjoyed this, subscribe for more. I'm currently unsure of what my next challenge will be or what game I'll even play it in, but you can give me suggestions for that down below in the comments and maybe I'll do it. Once once again, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.